most people don't think about how powerful it is to go online and actually search for something. You ever really sat and thought about that? But we all do this through a method I refer to as digital DNA. Now, how many of us have ever heard of cookies before? I'm talking about the kind that pops up on every single website that you go to, the one that's asking you to opt into the terms that we don't read and the conditions. And with permission, advertisers are able to follow you online and track your online digital DNA activities. But when you really sit and think about that, it makes me mildly uncomfortable. Wanna know why? Because it reveals the 5 W's about you and about me. What you're doing, who you're with, where you with, when you did it, and why. But here is one truth I stress to my clients over and over again, and I want you to hear me well. You can write it down, you can take a picture, you can repost it. You just might not get a second opportunity to redo the first impression that you make online. You might not get that contract. You might not be invited to an event. You might not get to network like you want. Why? Because of the breadcrumbs you choose to leave online. Breadcrumbs can be in the form of posts that you do. Could be in the form of articles that are written about you or written about me. It could be in the form of maybe an advertisement that you see online. But on a more basic level, breadcrumbs are the conversations that you're having with people online. And because you don't know who's looking, I don't know who's looking, people scrolling. I'm that person that's always scrolling. Ooh, oh no, she didn't do that. No, she didn't do that. I'm scrolling. But because you don't know who's watching you, you have to be very careful in how you guard your influence. But I have to give the disclaimer, but this is one thing I am sure about. If I were to cut you, or you were to cut me, or if I was to poke you, or you were to poke me, and we draw blood, we're both gonna bleed DNA, is that right? But in that same vein, you can't poke somebody through the screen and see if they bleed like you. You can't cut somebody through the screen and see if they're real. Is that right? So because you can't do that, you can only use the intangible to cite if they are who they say they are. So my job today is to help you understand that you can make a customer, you can make a follower, you can make a consumer out of people that find you that never knew they needed you. Some of us in our businesses, we're bleeding, we're hemorrhaging, we're struggling. And every time we get up as an entrepreneur, every time we get up as a leader, we feel like we're dying. We feel like the business is dying. We feel like our efforts are dying. We feel like our journey is dying and that is hemorrhaging. And we can't stop the bleed. Let me walk you through what a hemorrhage looks like when you're in business. It looks like not having enough money to pay your staff. It looks like making a post and nobody likes it. It looks like hosting an event and not one person will register besides your mama. That's what it looks like. That's what it feels like. It feels like you're losing a battle every single day, and it shouldn't feel like that. But can I tell you this? There is still more opportunity for you. There's still more digital blood for you. Now I'm gonna ask you why. Tell me why. Say why. Why? I can't hear you. Say why. Why? Because you're worth finding. Yes. Say why. Why? I can't hear you. Say why. Why? Because you're worth fighting for. And if you won't fight for you, who's gonna fight for you? I can fight with you, but I can't fight for you. You have got to formulate a way for your digital narrative, your story, who you are, to align with the biggest problem that you provide a solution for. The breadcrumbs that you're experiencing, they are only a portion, a little piece of your story. It's just a piece of the loaf. It's not the whole thing. It's a piece of the work you're already doing. I'm Cynthia Videau, the website whisperer, #1 best-selling author, wife, mom, boss. And you can find me at cynthiavideau.com. That's CynthiaVideau.com.